Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. What is this video about? Well, I want to experiment with crossfading between multiple effects chains using an audio effect rack, which I've got highlighted here. This isn't something I've explored very much, so I'm looking forward to having a go now, and I hope you will enjoy it too. And we're going to have a very nice time making some crazy, whooshy, wishy-washy sort of textures and mutant landscapes. I don't know, or it might sound terrible. We'll find out. So what am I going to do? Well, I've got this drum beat here, which is obviously the best beat of my career. And I'm going to send that into loads of audio effects racks with loads of different chains, and then look at ways of mapping the chains in conjunction with the crossfade to move around them and sort of change it over time. I'm going to do this all in one drum rack. You can do this on, you can do it however you want really, but I'm going to do it in a drum rack because I quite like it all being sort of self-contained, and I quite like that a drum rack is sort of like a little version of Ableton in one instrument. So I'm going to open out all of this stuff here. And what you can do is that you can create return chains and all kinds of chains really inside a drum rack by routing them all inside out, upside down, whatever. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually route all of these cells here to a single chain. So I'm just going to make a chain here. I'm going to rename it. I'm just going to call it mix. And then I'm going to select, I've spelled it with two capital letters. I'm going to select all of these, go to the rack output and go to mix. Now they are all summed to this mix channel here. So I can mute them all like that. And then I can just send the whole mix into all of my sends rather than sending one cell at a time. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to make another return chain. I'm going to call this send1. And then I'm going to go and get an audio effect rack, put that in there and open that out. And then I've got an empty audio effect rack. So I'm going to fill this up with just loads of stuff just to see what happens. This might be a little bit of a drain on your computer because these are all time-based effects. There'll be lots of latency and stuff. Hopefully it'll be okay. So let's just start with, let's just chuck a reverb on here and let's turn the dry wet up. And let's start by, we have to enable all the sends on the return chain here. So now I can send this into return B. There we go. You can also do that here as well. Do it here if you want. So now all of these are summed to this chain, and we are sending this chain to this chain. Let's give them slightly different colors. Okay, so I'm just going to get this reverb. Let's put a bit of a low cut in there, turn the high cut off. I'm just going to duplicate this reverb and just change the settings. And then maybe like another one here that's got like, then we can put like some different effects on. You can get really creative. You can just chuck everything in. It sort of doesn't really matter. You can just sort of throw things in. It's all quite fun. Let's set this to 16th notes, have a little bit of a wah-wah reverb thing. Yeah, and then maybe we could have like another one here, and then rather than this one being a pan, it could be like an auto filter or something. Let's put the auto filter down here. Yeah, that's fun. And then for this one, maybe this one could be a notch. It's going. Yeah, and then maybe we could have some delays. Let's get some delays in here. Where's the delay? Get the delay. Put the delay in there. Put one in there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Lots of feedback. Maybe 70%. Bit of filter, maybe. Yeah. Get another one, duplicate that, and have this one going this speed or something. Yeah, and then maybe we could get the, what else can we do? Let's get the grain delay. Where's the grain delay? Yeah, the classic grain delay. Let's see what this one's doing. Feedback up. That. This one go down. Yeah, that's fun. fun. And let's maybe, let's put a redux in there maybe. Let's redux one up. Yeah, and then maybe let's do a spectral time. Let's make sort of some frozen. Okay, so now that we've got all these chains, we go into the chain editor, select all of these chains, bring them all out so that they're all the same length, and then you guessed it, distribute ranges equally. And then I'm going to just sort of, this is kind of, I couldn't really find like a neat uniform way to do this, so it's a little bit messy, I'll be honest. But the kind of idea that I got to was sort of like, you just sort of extend them all out like that, and then extend them all out a bit like that, so that they kind of sort of line up. And then, so if you hover around the bottom part of the chain, then you adjust the chain range. But if you hover slightly up, you adjust the crossfade. So I'm just going to pull up the crossfade like that to somewhere like there, and then pull it down this side to something like that. Yeah, that kind of looks all right because they're all sort of different lengths. It's not very neat. But anyway, let's see how we get on. So for this first one, I'm just going to pull that out like that. And then this last one, I'm going to pull that out like that. Okay, let's see how this goes. Now we want to right-click this blue line here, which is the chain selector, and map that to macro 1. Now we can crossfade between all the chains. Now, it will get choppy at times, but we'll just have to sort of ignore that. Yeah. Psychedelic. Yeah. All right, let's just get an LFO, put an LFO here, and we'll just use this LFO to wibble this chain selector around. I'm going to set this to remote, set this to stray, and with a timing of something like 2 bars or something, click map and click that. Now we don't have to do anything. We can just sit and listen. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, fun. All right, let's minimize that down. Let's get a limiter. Let's put a limiter on here. And now I want to sort of feed this back into itself just to see what it does. So I'm going to go to the chain for this chain. I'm going to right-click these sends, go enable all sends. Now we're on send B. So this one here we can use to feed this back into itself. And I've put a limiter on the end because that will stop it going absolutely wild, which we want, but we don't want to deafen ourselves. So I'm going to feed this back into itself now, see what we get. Wow. Oh, that's fun. All right, let's map that. Let's map that to macro 1. Hello. What was that? Still going, I think. Right, so I'm going to actually, I tell you what, let's undo that. Let's make a macro for the main send. So let's call this one well, we'll just call it send 1. And then this one we'll call send one FB for feedback. So we can choose how much we send into send one and then how much we feed back send one back into itself. So now these are all turned down. Now we can choose to send the entire mix. And the cool thing about this is that you could do this with everything in the drum rack, or you could do this with bits of the drum rack. Again, it's a little bit like Ableton Live. When you sort of ping this open, you've kind of got very, very similar control to how you would if you were just doing things with tracks and multiple instruments across the whole session. You can kind of do it in this compact way, which means that you could save this as an instrument, drag it in a set later, and kind of everything's ready to go, and you don't have to worry about things being routed to return tracks or whatever. So let's have a listen to this. Let's feed this back into itself now. Okay, it's very weird. Let's put an OTT on that just to see what that kind of does, if it adds anything or just makes it sound dreadful. The OTT is sort of a hit and miss, isn't it? It's really squashed everything, which brings out some of the details, but you lose some of the dynamics. Right, let's feed it back into itself now. Wow. All right, fun. Okay, let's make another one. Let's make something that's maybe a little bit more musical and less sound effectsy. Let's get another audio effect rack. Let's put that on there. And let's call this one send to. And maybe for this one, I'll use like loads of corpus or something. So let's get corpus in. And maybe we can do something with the MIDI side chaining. Yeah, let's give this a go. Okay, so why don't we maybe MIDI sidechain the corpus? And we could do that also from inside the drum rack. See, this is what I'm saying. This is when it gets interesting. So let's go to this cell here, and let's go to MIDI effects, go and get a random, drop a random on there. Let's turn this scale aware, whatever what is it actually called? Scale mode. Okay, let's turn on the scale mode. Let's set this to minor pentatonic and then enable the scale mode on the random and turn the charts up quite high. And then what we should be able to do is get the MIDI from that cell in the corpus. So we'll do it with one instance, and then we can just duplicate that, and all the other instances will have the same mapping. So we'll go drum rack, and we'll go, let's give it a name. Excuse me. Let's call it bass MIDI. And let's go back here, and we'll go to drum rack, and then post effects, bass MIDI, post effects. Okay, and then we're going to map that to the frequency. Okay, so now that has, okay, this should work. So let's draw in some MIDI for our bass MIDI. Let's just draw in some notes here like that. And then maybe let's ditch that first one, get all of these, turn the chants down to something like 40%, 45, 41%, and then draw in another one there. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so it's getting some stuff. So we need to route the audio to the corpus. There we go, that's working. How funny. Right. Turn the width down. All right, let's... Wow! Slightly less decay. Why can't I type in 500 milliseconds, damn it? All right, we'll just dial it in. 500. I don't really want to use the beam. Let's see what marimba's like. All right, let's go back to that random thing and set this to bi-directional. That means it's going to go either side of the root note. Okay, let's maybe come down. So I've transposed it down an octave. Okay, that's good, yeah, all right. All right, let's duplicate that. Solo this one and just change the algorithm. Let's do that again. Change this to pipe. Pipe's good. I like pipe. And then this one for tube. There's no copy value to siblings when doing it in audio effects racks and drum racks. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just give these all slightly more decay. Okay, excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickly throat today. Right, so I'm going to go into the chain, get the chains, do exactly the same thing. Distribute ranges equally. And drag sort of this way a bit and maybe this way a bit. Do a crossfade like this and a crossfade like this. And then this first one will pull that crossfade back, and then this one will pull that crossfade back. And then we'll right click, go map to macro 1, and then we'll go and get an LFO. And I'm just using an LFO to wibble these around. We could probably macro them so that you could have control over it if you wanted. I don't need that much control today. I'm happy to just let Ableton do it. So let's go to Stray, set the timing here to something like 2 bars, click map. All right, let's see how that sounds. Oh, unsolo that one there. Same thing. Get a limiter. And see what happens when I send that back into itself. So we've called this send to, we could maybe call it bass. We could maybe call it bass or something. And we're going to enable all the sends. So yeah, with all the sends enabled, you can send them back in and out of it to each other or whatever. Let's just see what happens if we send this back into itself. Yeah, okay. That's nice, but it's a little clean. Wow. It's a little clean. Be very careful when you do this feedback stuff, people. It's dangerous. It's like the most fun kind of danger you can do in your DAW. and stick a limiter on there. So let's get like maybe, well, I mean, we could just make more like distortion or something. We could have different saturators. Let's see what it's like with saturator. Let's go to soft clip. Let's do the same thing for this one. Okay, let's duplicate that, and then we'll do this one, just a completely different saturator set. And then let's do another one. Maybe this one could be bass shaper. Maybe a little bit subtle to really hear the differences, but let's just keep going. I've started now, so I'll finish. Yeah. Oh yeah. Never thought about using Corpus with saturator. It sounds pretty gnarly. Let's try the wave shaper. All right, let's do the same thing here. Let's get all of these chains, select them all, drag them all out like that. Right click, distribute ranges equally, pull them out a little bit like this, and then maybe a little bit like this. Do the fader thing. Yeah, that could be okay. Maybe I've not been quite accurate with that one, or that one, or that one there. Okay. This one. And this one. Okay. Right click, map to macro 1. And get the LFO. And map the LFO. Do the chain selector. Set this to stray. Set this to something like 2 bars. Let's see what this is like. My volume down a little bit. I think I'm clipping my mic a little bit. I'm getting a little bit too close to the mic. Need to back off. Back off, man. Back off. All right, now let's feed this back into itself and see what we get. Wow. Feedback bass, people. You heard it here first on Ned Rush. Maybe not, actually. I'm sure people have been doing this for ages. Let's OTT this as well. Much better. Some of them are a little bit high, so I might just go into the MIDI. This is great. You can route MIDI around drum racks, kind of. Not really as comprehensive as you can in Ableton, but still enough to have a good time. I'm going to pitch it down 1 octave. There we go. Crossfading even in the feedback loop when the transport stopped. Very nice. Okay, let's make some macros for that then. Let's call this, let's go to macro 3. Let's call this one bass send. And then this one we'll call bass send FB. So we can choose how much we're sending into the bass and then how much we feed back. I don't know what kind of music you'd call this. Industrial trap. Industrial glitch trap. That's it. I've ruined the song. This is the point at which you look up from your laptop screen and see that everyone's left. I thought it was going to be techno. This is just noise. Yay! And then everyone claps because they're pleased it's over. Ha ha ha! Right. I think it was trying to tell me something. Okay, what else could we do? Well, there's still so much more that we could do. Maybe let's do something a little bit more less aggressive and perhaps a little bit more pleasant. We could use something like some of the resonators, give it a slightly softer sound. Let's go for another return track here, and let's call this one Chords. I personally quite enjoy the juxtaposition between stuff that's very in your face and aggressive, either forefronted or backdropped. Forefronted or backdropped against something that's quite pleasant and ethereal. I think that's artistic. in my humble opinion. So I'm going to try and do that now. Let's go and get the spectral resonator. And we can do the same thing with the spectral resonator. We can sidechain the MIDI from a cell here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to this cell and I'm going to go and get some MIDI effects. I'm going to get a chord, put a chord in there, turn the scale mode on, just set this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn the charts on, give them all 60% maybe. Yeah, all of them 60%. Go and get a random, put a random before the chord to randomize the root note. Set that quite high. Set that all the way up. And then get that, put another one afterwards so it randomizes the chord voicing. Very good. So now we need to go to our mix chain and enable the send for that chain. Enable send. And go to our chain with our resonator. Play the track. And send. So now we're sending the whole mix into that spectral resonator. We can go to the MIDI thing here. Oh, we need to draw in some stuff first. So for this one, we could maybe have them be like every quarter note, or maybe every half a bar might be better. And then we go to the MIDI from on the spectral resonator, go to drum rack input. Okay, we need to give this a name. Let's call this chord MIDI. Okay, it's a little bit of back and forth, but it's not that hard to keep on top of. So let's go post effects, send it to poly, and see what we get. Well, now it's Christmas. Let's transpose that all down. Let's go down an octave. Let's go bi-directional on the... Let's put these back to add. Yeah. Too many choices, I think. Let's go for 5 choices. And maybe some of these could go down. Let's go -1, -2, and -3. Okay, good. Made some music. Well, that's just twinkly as fuck, isn't it? All right, let's see if we can do the same thing with the spectral resonator. Let's group that. Let's duplicate that, and then maybe this one could have a slower rate on this chorus. And then let's duplicate that again, and then maybe this one can be on the wander. Yeah, and then let's duplicate that again. This one could be just on none. Yeah, okay, yeah, we could shift it around. This fader looks a little bit red, but trust me, this one isn't. It's fine. All right, let's do the same thing here. Select all the chains, Drag that out, right click, go distribute ranges equally, pull it forward a little bit, pull it back a little bit. I'm being a little bit sloppy with this. Pull that in there. Yeah, no, I've done that kind of quite badly, but it's okay. You can be more precise if you like. This one, extend that out, extend those two out. Yeah, okay. Right click, go map to macro 1, the chain selector, and then go and get the LFO. Where's the LFO? Put the LFO there. All right. Whoops. And then go remote, map to chain selector, set this to stray, or try some of the other ones. And let's see what that's like. Unsolo that chain. Yes. Beautiful. Maybe do some more different filter types, or yeah, different filters. Let's do this one with different filters, and then I think maybe I'll call it a day. Let's group this one. Could be a high pass, bit of envelope maybe. Yeah, that's nice. And then this one could maybe be a band pass. Maybe a band pass with a delay. So you can just keep throwing things in. It really doesn't matter. That's nice. This one could be a bit faster. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, let's go to the chain, select all the chains, extend out all the chains, right click, go distribute ranges equally. How many have I got here? 5. Yeah, do the same thing, sort of extend it out there like that. Do the crossfadey. Wow. Sometimes you can do that by mistake. Do the crossfadey thing here like that. That one there, it's a little fiddly, but you'll get there. Get that one, extend that one out. Get that one, extend that one out. Right click here. Go map to macro 1. Get an LFO. It's a lot of the same processes and over again, which is good because then you memorize it. Map that to that, go to stray, set that there, set that to something like 2. Let's have a listen now. Unsolo that chain, right. And then again, I think just OTT just to squash it and bring all the details out, and then a limiter on the end so that we can feed it back into itself. Oh, it's complicated, right. Okay, let's macro this to macro 5. We'll call this one chords send. And then let's map this one, enable this send, and macro that one to macro 6. And call this one chords send FB. Now we can dial the whole mix into that chain and feed it back into itself. Let's hear it with some of these other things. Make it a bit louder. think maybe one more thing I'd like to do is maybe beat repeat bits of these a bit at the end, just to sort of make it a little bit more interesting. Set the grid here to something like this one. Set the chance to about 25%. Duplicate this one. Set this to eighths. Turn off triplets. Bring the interval down. Bring the gate down. Yeah, something like that. And then have the 16th note variation. Set this to about 25%. Now copy that to the chords chain as well. And maybe to the reverby one as well. All right, a little bit. It's a little bit much. Let's bring it down to 10%. So yeah, you can also access the chains here as well when you've extended out the drum rack. Don't know what's going on with my mic today. Am I just talking too loud into it? Too loud and too close. I can't find my natural speaking volume today. That's why. Okay. So one more thing. One more thing I want to do is I want to macro the amplitude envelope of the drum sounds so that we can really bring everything down to sort of a dead silence and then go full on up to extreme if we want. Kind of maybe in line with this idea of sort of a macro performance. I had another idea for a video where I was kind of like, I wanted to perform an entire song just by turning one macro. And this is sort of a precursor to that, perhaps a teaser for that. So let's go to the kick drum and let's map the decay to macro 7 and the release to macro 7 on the kick. Let's do the same for the snare. What's that doing there? Did I even use that? Don't know why that's there. Let's go map to macro 7. Map to macro 7. Is it macro 7? Let's call that decay. And then let's do the same for the hi-hat. So it has to be in classic, mode on simpler. Let's go map to decay, map to decay. So now we can pull this decay down and all the sounds will get really short. You can really sort of pull the whole thing back to sort of nearly nothing. And I think maybe we want to explore these mapping settings a little bit. So let's look for kick amber. Yeah, let's give this maybe 100 milliseconds. The minimum decay time and release time of 100 milliseconds. That's a bit better. All right. Suddenly, I don't like those beat repeats. I'm going to get rid of them. Yeah, I've changed my mind. Bad idea. Goodbye. Where are they? Yeah. That one and that one. Okay. pull it right back, sort of almost back down to nothing. That's kind of nice with a few knob twiddles. Yeah, when you get the crossfades right, it's really quite nice, especially when they're in a feedback loop. We could also, let's close all this down now. I think we're done here. We can also, of course, mix it even further. So we could do that with the drum bus. Let's try the drum bus. Let's set the drum bus transient to something like 0.25. Very abstract. You might get some people dancing. You might. Or you might get a lot of question marks. But you know what? Question the dance floor sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. Sometimes. Question the audience. Just a little bit. One more thing that we could do, and I'm definitely stopping, because the problem is that you're kind of using all of these dials to navigate these feedback loops. Is that if you need to kill them all at once, it's a little tricky. So we'll use some macro variations. So why don't we make a macro variation here for everything down, and we'll call this one down, and then we'll make another one for just as an example, everything at about slightly sort of a quarter of the way or halfway or something like that, like a midpoint. All of these like that. And then we'll go new and we'll call this one mid. And then we'll have one, everything up full. And we'll call this one max. So we can start with down. You could have more if you want. You can have various stages. Okay, let's go to mid now. See what mid's like. Okay. Let's maybe make a couple more. Let's maybe have like one that's sort of here, this much bass maybe. Call this one bass. And then this one bass and chords. See what you can do here. You can also switch these now from the push, which I promise I will do a video on later. I'm just too lazy to rig up cameras. But you can switch macro variations from the push now, extending out the performance possibilities. Actually, one thing that we could also do is that we could create a second mix bus chain. I don't know if that's too much to do. Let's try it. Let's put this drum bus here. So let's rename this. Let's call this pre-mix, and we'll call this one post-mix. And then maybe we can route all of these to the post-mix chain. No. No, we can't do that. Okay, undo. So you would probably have to group that to another drum rack and then macro everything again. Yeah, okay. That's all right. That's fine. Okay, so there you go. That is how, well, it started out as just a simple way to crossfade between effects chains, but it's turned into a complete jam. So there you go. That is how you can do that. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have fun trying to do that yourself. Or if you don't want to do it, you can go on my Patreon and download this and just play with it at home if you want. You can, of course, also get access to hundreds of Ableton live sets going back nearly a decade. And your support is greatly appreciated and goes towards making more videos like this, which I hope you enjoy very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a nice time making noise. and of course, making nice music too. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.